Yes, YouTube, how are we doing? It's Ben Hawks, the Coach Consultant, and today I'm going to be walking through a step-by-step process of how to generate more engagement, more reach, more interactions on Instagram specifically. So again, as we know, when it comes to Instagram, it is ever-changing, gone from photo platform to Reels to now a bit of long form to now long-form Reels to carousels to BTS overlays, and it's jumping around all over the place. But one thing that I always try and teach people is that, look, we know that there's different styles of content which may perform better or worse than others in certain periods of time, but that does not mean that you actually remove the core foundations and core framework of what we are needing to do on that platform to actually generate reach and generate kind of engagement. So I've put down 8 different kind of key points here, which I'm going to talk through in a second in terms of how to generate a lot more engagement, more reach. And the main thing that I'm always looking for with fitness professionals is, yes, virality is great, reach is great, engagement is great, but I also want to make sure that you're actually building the right type of community, you're building the right type of engagement, and also getting the right type of trust and connection with what you are doing. So number one for me is where we are basically looking at actual relatable and raw content, right? This is without question I work with some of the, if not the biggest content creators in the fitness industry. I've worked with in America, Dubai, the UK, you name it. And the people who have really kind of top performed at that kind of level is the people who's been really, really raw, really, really relatable. So they've kind of put themselves in a position where it's impossible not to trust them because they've been so open and transparent about their actual current situation. And for me, I think that's somewhere where online coaches and personal trainers often kind of forget about, because we're kind of taught to be like professionalism alone, or this alone, or like this type of format. Whereas in reality, if you can just truly be yourself in content creation, like that's why I really, really enjoy creating YouTubes now, because I remember when I first started, or way back then when I started did like client interviews and all that, I thought it needs to be really, really professional. Whereas now I love talking about business, I love talking about content, I love talking about acquisition, sales, mindset, leadership, and I love just rolling off like this and just speaking as myself. And that's the type of thing that I want you to look at when you're looking at your Instagram is it actually real what you're talking about? Is it raw? Is it you? But most importantly, when we're looking at topic discovery and topic isolation, are you actually really, really talking about relatable topics? Because you can do every single thing on here, but if there's a massive cross when it comes to relatability, people are not actually going to align to that. They're not going to be engaged by it. So we need to make sure that what we are creating is really, really relatable to that audience while being really raw, open, and transparent as you. Number 2 is actually looking at actual transitions on Reels. So this is something which is very, very, very common, and what I'm trying to do is trying to look at the things what's not really changed, right? Transitions on Reels is without question in to stay, and I can't see it changing anytime soon. So when we are looking at a script, for example, and I've done a previous YouTube video on this, break your video up into each individual section. So you've got line and section 1, section 2 line, section 3 line, section 4, and split these up and film these in one section and then spin around, film the next one here, then film the next one here. So as we basically know, when you've got a consumer on the other end of the on the phone or an iPad or a computer, they're a lot more sophisticated now. So people are going to want to see engagement. They're going to want to see effort because they're seeing it everywhere else. So we need to go out of his way to just really kind of make that little bit of effort to put that transition in, to put effort into that hook, to get people's attention. And the transitions for me is a really easy, natural way of doing it. And it's also an easy way to actually film. So rather than having to remember everything in one spiel, all you need to do is just actually film one section, cut it, split, cut, put it all together, right? Number 3 is going to be emphasis on the hook, right? I cannot express the importance of this, whether this is let's just say this is a YouTube video, or this is a reel or a carousel, whatever it is. Those first 5 seconds need to hook people in, right? So for example, if someone's not interested in generating more reach on Instagram, they're probably not going to watch this video, right? But for example, when we're kind of coming in and you're creating your hook, I want you to think about, when you're creating it, does this really get people bought in immediately? What I am saying, what I am doing, what I am showing people, effort, right? Because that is bottom line what this comes down to. What hook do I need, right? What prop do I need? What outfit do I need? What location do I need? What do I need to say in that script to get people's attention to want to continue watching? Because if we can get people bought in them the first few seconds, I'm pretty sure you can actually impress them throughout the rest of the video as well. But for me, a hook comes down to pure level effort. And I'll maybe do another video at some point on different styles of hooks as well. Number 4 from that point is to ask questions, right? So you've got opportunities when you've got a reel or you've got a carousel or you've got a caption where you can actually ask a question to your audience, right? Not only is there a greater chance of them maybe replying in the comments, but if not, if they're interested and intrigued by that question, then they're potentially actually going to reach out to you on DM and actually speak to you about it and answer that question. So asking questions is really, really important for me, because that is what's going to formulate and generate a lot more interaction and traction with people who are actually sitting and digesting things on your page. So really, really go out of your way to think about, right, what thought-provoking questions can I put into this piece of content or in this caption to get a response out of someone to, again, start a new conversation started, potential of a relationship, more trust, and then you go on and so on and so on from that point. Next up, number 5 is real life BTS, right? I want you to imagine that basically every single thing that you're doing in your life is like got the potential to be a piece of content. So when it comes to brushing your teeth, your morning routine, your bed routine, sitting in your living room at night, going to the shops, walking the dog, going to the gym, going to the office, whatever it may be, these are all different scenes that your audience wants to see, right? If you are just, again, and I'm at fault for this, so I've actually started to change filming in different locations from with my short form content. It's easier for me doing YouTube than because I've got all the kit that I need. But short form reels, again, when I'm really trying to grab someone's attention, I've started filming in different locations because I was just doing so much in the office all the time. People want to see the real life you. They want to see what is kind of going on behind the scenes. They want to see where you live, where you're located, what you do, how you act, how you behave. And that's the type of stuff that someone wants to watch, because again, in reality, guys, people are really, really, really fucking nosy. That's bottom line what this comes down to. People are really, really nosy. They want to know more. They want to know what that kitchen looks like. They're not going to judge you on it. They just want to know, because the more that they see, the more that they trust, the more that they know. The next thing from that point is to be looking at using polls and Q&As at all times. Again, all we are trying to do here is if you've got 100 people, we set up a Q&A, we set up a poll. Potentially we might be able to get 3 to 5% of that audience based on an interaction, so we know that they've got some form of interest or they're wanting to know more information. But actively using polls and Q&As alongside your questions in your captions, your content, again, it's just going to instigate a lot more people who are potentially going to actually show interest in what you are doing. Big one for me here is showing direct processes, right? So direct process for me would be directly cooking a recipe, not building a recipe, but directly cooking a piece of food, directly showing process to meal prep, directly showing an exercise in a gym, directly showing a comparison, directly showing a morning routine. So if you look at, is it Ashton, I can't remember his name, Ashton or whatever, but that's a process where he's shown his morning routine and has gone viral. I know people are taking a piss out of him, but the guy's in incredible shape and done very well for himself, obviously. But all he's doing there is he's showing a morning routine process. People love to see other people's processes because it means that they don't have to think about it as much and they can potentially just copy that. So when it comes to meal prep, for example, or cooking, it's really, really kind of good one. And as we've seen on social media in the last few years, that cooking style and recipe style videos go down like a hell, really, really kind of a hell of a treat. And it's just kind of important to make sure we're doing that. And the final one here, guys, and probably the most important one, what I want you to really think about is whenever we're doing any of this, is how can you tell a story? Most importantly, how can you tell your story? So you've got a story in every single pain point that you're probably speaking about with your audience. I can guarantee that you've been through that at least once yourself, or you've thought about it, or it's been in a previous life, a future life, or whatever it is. But the more that you can lead with your own personal experiences, the better, right? Because people are going to start to learn more about you. If they learn more about you, they're going to start to trust you more. If they trust you more, they're going to build a better personal brand around that. If you've got a better personal brand with more buy-in, the content that you are putting out and the effort that you are putting into it will be received and replicated, where people will actually put effort into engagement and interactions back with you. So if you look at top level content creators out there, guys, and if you went onto their comments, I can guarantee you that the majority of those will have a substantial amount of diehard people who are just commenting on every single post because they are so bought into that person. So that's what we're looking to do. when we've got relatable and raw content, when we're creating content that's actually fun to watch, when we're actually making sure we're giving people a watch after the first 3 to 5 seconds with a hook, when we are asking questions and getting people actively thinking rather than just digesting, when we're showing real life BTS of what's happening inside your life and outside it and everywhere, so people can really see the bigger picture to who you are, when we're using polls and Q&As to try and get interactions and spark some conversations, and then obviously finally from that point showing direct processes alongside telling your story, telling client stories, or even going to lengths of actually showing their story with future pacing examples. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, guys, like generating more reach on Instagram. I know that Instagram is all over the place, but one thing I'll say is Instagram is not against you, it's not against us. Yes, it might favor some people, but that's because they've hit that algorithm and they've hit the one thing that people want or the thing that people have been engaged with to interact with the most. So all we've got to do is make sure that we're trying to do that at all times, while making sure that we're not just focusing on going viral, we're really building as much trust, relatability as humanly possible. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, drop it a like or a comment. I'd love to hear some feedback. And if you want support on everything associated with this in terms of content creation across all platforms, guys, then you know what to do. The link's in my bio. And if you ever want to chat, just drop me a message on @BenHawksworth_ on Instagram, and I'm happy to chat with anyone who's watching these videos. See you next time.